If I did not discover antinatalism, I would be even more lost and confused in this life. So shout out to Soft White Underbelly YouTube channel and Amanda Sukanik, I think that's her last name, for showing me antinatalism. If it wasn't for that video, I wouldn't have found antinatalism, and I'd be even more lost and confused in life because this life is already such a mistake and it's just crazy. It sucks, man. Life is just misery, you know? Yeah, antinatalism teaches you a lot that makes you less lost and confused in life. It teaches you that you didn't ask to be in this life, so you didn't consent to be here, and you didn't choose anything. You didn't choose who your parents were. You didn't choose where you was born. You didn't choose how your mind reacts to negative events happening to you. You didn't choose anything. You didn't choose what your siblings were going to be like, or even if you had siblings. You can't choose the pain you're going to go through in life or the positive experiences. All you can do once you're in this life is just respond to whatever happens to you, pretty much. That's all you can do. You just have to deal with the cards that you're dealt, you know, the deck that you got. You know, it sucks. And some people have worse decks than me, and some people have better decks than me. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. I'm not really an envious person. I'm only envious of the unborn. And just because people have worse lives than me, a worse set of circumstances, that doesn't mean I should be grateful. No, that just means that life is terrible. There's people out there with worse, more miserable lives than me. You know, I know no one in here knows me personally, but my life sucks, man. Because, you know, I'm a young guy, right? And I'm sure young guys are listening to this and other channels, obviously. And life for young men nowadays is just absolute misery. There's no sex, there's no brotherhood, there's no relating to anybody. At least I got none of that. I'm pretty much on my own, you know? But antinatalism teaches you that you didn't choose anything in this life. You didn't choose to be here, and you chose nothing, basically. All you can do is just choose how to respond to the set of circumstances that you find yourself in. I mean, personally, I fucking hate this life. I have a deep hatred of this life and this world and my parents. I resent it. I'm a misanthrope. I'm not going to take it out on anybody ever. I would never cross that line. And I would never lose my emotions like that, like some pathetic people do in this world, or a lot of pathetic people do, and take it out on others. I would never cross that line. But at the same time, I'm deeply resentful of this life, and it's very frustrating, you know? I mean, it's frustrating dealing with physical pain, especially unnecessary physical pain, you know, that someone fucking dished out to you because they can't control themselves. And it's frustrating when you don't get laid at all. Life is just frustrating, man. It's misery, you know. I didn't sign up for this. None of us signed up for this shit, man. It sucks. All we can do now is just relate online, or if you're lucky in real life, if you have people to relate to in real life, you're luckier, I guess. And just live our lives, and then we'll die eventually, and it will be over. It will be as if we never existed in the first place. Our consciousness will end, and we won't remember anything. We'll be dead. So that would be a happy ending in the end, kind of a happy ending. I mean, it's going to be painful before we die, but when we're dead, I think that's a happy ending because no more suffering and struggle and needing things, needing desires. But antinatalism teaches you a lot. Yes, it teaches you that you didn't choose to be in this life. It teaches you that life is unfair and life is unpredictable because no matter how rich someone is, you can't predict the pain their kid will go through in life. They could be born with a terrible disease. They could be abused by somebody. They could, you don't know, even the rich parents, they could die, you know, and then the child gets the fortune. What if the child fucking wastes the fortune? That you don't know. Who knows what could happen? Yeah, antinatalism teaches you life is unpredictable and unfair as well. There's people out there with worse lives than you, and people want to take it out on others, and people want to make each other's lives worse, or people want to end each other's lives, you know what I mean? Because human beings are ruled by their emotions, and they're a violent and sadistic species, and psychopathic species as well. They are. Yeah, humans are a terribly violent species, man. Terribly violent. Such a flawed species, man, because they're animals. Humans are animals, and just like animals, we are slaves to our impulses and emotions and feelings and hatred towards each other for whatever reason, you know? Even if someone's done nothing to you, humans will still take it out on each other because that's the way humans are. They're fucking full of vendettas and vengeance, you know? But in a bad way, in a terrible way. Not like vengeance like I am the knight, I am Batman. No, they're like vengeance like just in a pathetic way, like just hurting people for no reason, you know? That's what these humans do in the real world. It's fucking garbage. But anti-natalism teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you human nature and human psychology as well, because you didn't choose to be here. So just by default, you're here because someone else, well, two people chose for you to be here. They forced you here. And do you think they really put much thought into what your life could be and how you would respond to this life? No, they didn't think about that shit one bit. They just thought about themselves when they were creating you. You know, I mean, it's just fucking miserable talking about this shit even, man. Well, not talking about it, but just this life, you know, because they forced you here and they think you're just going to enjoy this life. Literally, I mean, I spoke to my mum. I mean, I told you before, right? If you see my videos before, I asked my mum, why did you have kids? She said to me, if we didn't have kids, the human race wouldn't continue. My mum is literally a fucking NPC, man. Literally. Literally, I'm telling you. And then another time I was texting her and she said, I mean, I was complaining to her about, you know, why did you have kids or something like that. And she said like these 3 steps to me, or 2 steps, I don't know. But she said to me like, get a job, get a career, be happy. I mean, seriously? That's what it takes to be fucking happy? No, it doesn't. Like, parents just bring you here and they expect you to fucking do everything that they did and just be happy with it. Yes, and from the moment you're born, they expect you to wake up and go to school and eat breakfast and do all these things and be happy with it, and be happy when you get socks for Christmas and all this bullshit, you know? They just expect you to be happy with this life. I'm not happy with this life because it fucking sucks. If you want good things, if you want to get laid or whatever, you have to work incredibly hard for these things, and there's no guarantee you'll even get it. But you can get problems like that for free. It fucking sucks, man. This life is full of problems that you get for free. Life gives out problems to you for free in the form of diseases or people or bad circumstances that you find yourself in, or accidents. Life gives them to you for free. There's no cost for that. It's going to cost you, though, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, financially. But life gives it to you for free. Life loves giving out problems to people. And some people get way more problems in this life than others for no reason. There's no justification for it. It's not because they deserve it or they don't deserve it. It's just because that's their luck in life, you know? That's just how much luck they have, or that their lack of luck. It's just, you know, life is unfair and it's a gamble and it's a risk. Some people will get the short end of the stick and they don't have a lot of luck in this life, or they find themselves in terrible circumstances. It's just terrible, man. This whole reality is fucking terrible. I despise it. I despise it. How, you know, what I just said before that, how parents expect, wait, I'm tripping over my words, but you know, how parents force you here and then they expect you to just like everything about this life. It's fucking, I hate it. I fucking hate it, dude, you know, because this shit is a violation of consent, you know, and no one talks about this shit because they're too fucking stupid and too unself-aware. They think giving birth is a fucking lovely thing when it's the worst thing ever. You're violating someone else's best interests, you know? You're causing harm to somebody else, even if not intentionally. Just because it's not intentionally doesn't mean that it's good. You're doing it unintentionally without even being aware of what you're doing. You're doing it unaware. Most human activity, I'd say, in this world is just fucking run by emotion, or it's just completely unaware, unself-aware of its actions, you know, and the damage it inflicts onto another sentient being, because human beings, they struggle to think outside their own perspective, you know. They think the whole world revolves around their perspective. This is why it's so hard for like guys to get laid nowadays, because women are brainwashed into like, you know, having high standards for men, and they can't see a guy's perspective, and it sucks being a guy, you know? They can't see it from our perspective, and men have the same problem. Men don't see it from women's perspective too. because we're almost like different species. But it's not just the genders. I mean, humans are a different species altogether, you know? Even if people are the same gender, they think differently about a lot of things. Humans are just aliens to each other because they think so differently and they act so differently and they believe in different things. This is why there's so much like discourse and hatred and violence in the world, because humans will never get along. I mean, look, it's so obvious humans don't get along. They don't get along. There's hundreds of different countries, right? And continents. If humans got along, they would just have one country around the world, you know, and they would just share money. There would be no money. But no, humans don't get along. They want to slave trade each other. And that's the way it is. And that's the way it will always be. Humans will never get along with each other. They'll always want to hurt each other, you know? Or they'll just always not care about each other, you know? And they think they're caring about someone by bringing them into this world, but that's the worst thing they're doing. Really, they're exposing them to all the people that don't care about them, and that could hurt them. That's all they're doing. So I'm kind of going off a tangent in this video, but it's true. Antinatalism makes me, at least, less lost and confused in this world, because it just you know, thanks to learning about it, I realized that life is unfair and it doesn't care about you or your psychological or physical state. It's just, you're in this pathetic human meat sack that you never asked to be in, full of these needs and these organs that empty fluids and need fluids to survive constantly. It's a constant system of getting nutrients into your body and then out, not just physically but mentally. Mentally, you have to get information into your body, or you have to get positive emotions and then you know, churn them into something positive, you know. You have to keep your mind busy. You have to keep your body running constantly. And I mean, I'm not tired of that necessarily, to be honest with you, but you know, the problem is I never consented to be in it in the first place. And there's a lot of feelings in the body that I don't like. Maybe you guys can relate, you know, feelings in the body that you just don't like. You don't like these feelings. It's not just in the body, but in the mind as well, because life is hard and it's hard to get the things that you want, especially as a young guy. You basically, as a young guy in this world, you don't get anything that you want. You get nothing, basically. It sucks. This is why suicide will keep going up. Violence will keep going up. School shootings, all this bullshit. Not just because of young men and like being incels and stuff like that, but for other reasons as well, you know? Like, you know, no emotional support in this world, no social support, people feeling like they're left behind, or just people being mentally ill or poor for whatever reason, you know, because this world doesn't care about really anybody. It's just people are lucky if they're born rich, or if they're physically attractive, you know, or if they have a certain gift or talent. But a lot of people get left behind in this world, you know, the people that are invisible, basically. I'm kind of invisible too, you know, no one really cares about me. And I wish I wasn't born, you know. I wish I wasn't. I hope somebody can relate to this, because life sucks, you know. Never asked to be here. It sucks. You have to put in so much work for the things that you want, and it's so frustrating, because there's no guarantee you'll get what you want. There's no guarantee you'll get laid unless you pay for it. There's no guarantee you'll be safe in this life until you die. There's no guarantee of anything, really. The only guarantee in this life is problems and suffering, because that's what life hands you for free. Problems and suffering and pain and anguish and frustration and boredom, you know. That's what life hands out for free. So antinatalism, I'm very, very glad that I discovered it personally, because I've probably been an antinatalist for a really long time. I mean, I'm 23 now. Probably been an antinatalist since, I don't know, late secondary school or high school, for those in America listening. Definitely, because I knew like I just didn't fit in with most people in school. I mean, I had friends in school, but I didn't fit in with most of them. And I knew that like after school, the purpose of this life is to just work a job, you know, because my mom kept nagging me about it, like, get a job, get a job, get a job, you know. That's all we're here to do, just fucking get a job. I fucking hate this shit. Like I said before in the video, I'll repeat it again. Parents bring you here and they expect you to fucking like everything. It's just fucking cruel, and I just fucking hate it. I would never do that to somebody. I'd never force them into this life and then expect them to like everything. That's just fucking rude, man. That's just rude, you know? These human beings are fucking rude. They are. I mean, I don't even fucking work a job. I ain't worked a job in years, bro. But when I do, it's gonna fucking suck because I never asked to be in this life. And I fucking hate it, you know? I hate this world. I have a deep hatred of it. I do. Because I never asked for any of it. It would be very different if I asked to be here and we asked for this experience, but we did not ask for it. We would have been better off without it. And yeah, some people like this experience in life. They like having a job. They like being a wage slave. They like having this hedonistic treadmill of needs constantly in life, where you have to constantly eat, drink, sleep, fuck, have things for your mind to occupy. They like that shit, and that's okay. Probably because they're unaware of what they're doing. You know, they never found this way of thinking. They're just unaware. They're just completely unaware. Probably because their life is good, you know? Or they're just submissive and obedient to society. There's nothing wrong with that per se. They're not hurting anybody by doing that. But still, they're completely unaware of this life that they're doing. And actually, there is something wrong with that, because eventually that kind of person will go on to have kids. So there is something wrong with that. And not everyone's going to enjoy this life. I mean, and even if someone enjoys this life now, there's no guarantee they will in like 5-10 years, because life is unfair and unpredictable, and it hands out problems and pain and suffering for free. And it doesn't discriminate. Anybody's life can eventually suck. Anybody, you know? Anybody. And everybody will die, mostly in painful ways. Mostly in painful ways, that's true. So it's so obvious to me, man, that this life is just a mistake, you know? Because our parents forced us here and expected us to like this shit. And I fucking hate it here. I hate this life. I'm so lonely in this world, man. And I can't get laid and all this rubbish, you know, that I never asked for. I was better off not having any needs, any thoughts, any ideas, any consciousness. Consciousness is a fucking curse, man, because I never asked for it, you know? I never asked for anything. We never asked for anything, anybody who's listening to us. You never asked for this shit, did you? No, we didn't. I fucking hate it, man. Parents violated our fucking peace by bringing us here. We was better off just not knowing anything and not existing than being forced here, you know? So all we can do is just, you know, not do that to somebody else, you know? And they'll definitely be thankful that we didn't force them here, you know? At least in our hearts they will, you know what I mean? They'll thank us in our hearts, that we're not going to force them into this mundane life full of all these harms and horrors in this world. Because this world is a fucking cesspool of negativity and toxicity. And I fucking hate it here. And some people are happy in this world. Yes, a lot of people are happy. A lot of people are also sad, you know? There's spectrums to this shit. Some people, because there's so many fucking human beings, there's billions of them, you know? It's hard to even fathom what billions means. But, you know, some people are angry, some people are violent, some are loving, some are kind, compassionate, you know, all this bullshit, because they're different lives and different circumstances, you know? So, yeah, life is a joke, basically, man. I wish I wasn't born. So, take it easy, guys.